Let me tell you about a group of Southern California high school students who are enjoying their most important subjects, sex, drugs and rock and roll. Sit back and enjoy this recap of the 1982 classic, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Here we go.
Stacy Hamilton, a 15-year-old sophomore in high school, works at Perry's Pizza in the Ridgemont Mall with Linda Barrett, who appears to have more sexual experience. Mark Ratner works as assistant to the assistant manager at the mall's movie theater. Mark's close buddy, Mike Damone, who frequently hangs out at the mall scalping rock concert tickets, considers himself to be knowledgeable about women.
There's Brad, Stacy's brother, a semi-dorky senior who is nevertheless popular since he has a car and works as a low-grade supervisor at All-American Burger, while planning to end his long-term relationship with his girlfriend, who also works at All-American Burger. Starting the new school year, surfer-type Jeff Spicoli, the local stoner, stumbles out of a Volkswagen bus with his friends. Spicoli tries to enter the stern Mr. Hand's history class, but when Mr. Hand tells him to go to the principal's office, Spicoli calls him a dick, starting a feud between the two that lasts the entire duration of the film. The mall's much older home stereo salesman, Ron Johnson, and the sexually adventurous Stacy initially get together. A few months later, he breaks up with her, leading Stacy to question what was wrong with her, and to seek other relationships. Stacy and Mark Ratner chat briefly at the pizza shop during his breaks, and they even wind up as lab partners in biology class. Mark Ratner gets advice from his friend, the scalper, Damone. One evening, Rat goes over to the pizza shop with encouragement from Damone and requests Stacy's phone number. Stacy accepts Mark's invitation to go on a date. Despite Mark leaving his wallet at home, the date went well. The two of them go to Stacy's house where she seduces him. Mark backs out due to his lack of sex expertise, leaving her wearing nothing but just a robe. Spicoli persists in annoying Mr. Hand. Spicoli has a pizza delivered to the classroom. Mr. Hand gives the pizza away to his favorite students. Brad loses his beloved job at All-American Burger because of a dispute with an unsatisfied and rude customer. The boss, Dennis, immediately fires Brad. Brad feels betrayed as none of his coworkers have the guts to defend him against their dictatorial boss, for fear of losing their jobs as well, and he ends up taking a new job at Captain Hook Fish and Chips. Brad decides to quit his new job after being laughed at by a good-looking woman while on a delivery, tossing all the catch of the day boxes out into the street. Spicoli is seen drinking beer, smoking marijuana, while he joyrides in a 1979 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 belonging to Charles Jefferson. Spicoli totals the vehicle when he swerves to dodge an approaching vehicle. Spicoli assures Jefferson's brother that he can fix it. The following morning at school, according to Spicoli, Lincoln High, a rival high school, allegedly destroyed it as a joke. Stacy and Linda are talking about guys while they lounge by the pool. Damone persuades Mark to try and hook up with Stacy again. Mark follows Damone to Stacy's backyard pool, where Damone interrupts the girls. Returning home, very depressed, after losing his job, Brad walks past the pool and into the house. He makes his way to the bathroom, where he begins fantasizing about Linda getting out of the pool, and walking up to him as she takes off her bathing suit top. At this point Linda dives into the pool and gets water in her ear. The pool party is ruined when she enters the bathroom to get a Q-tip and discovers Brad masturbating. Stacy becomes more drawn to Mark's friend Damone over the coming weeks. After school, Stacy meets Damone, and he drives her home. Damone asks if Stacy has any iced tea, and then he wants to go swimming. She leads him into the changing room near the pool. The two engage in awkward, disappointing sex instead of swimming. Stacy informs Linda that she is pregnant. Then Stacy tells Damone, and they decide that an abortion is the only option. She begs Damone to give her a ride to the clinic. Damone agrees. Later, after Mark Ratner learns that Damone has been seeing Stacy, the two get into an altercation in the locker room. Damone struggles to come up with his portion of the cash to cover the abortion. He makes desperate and fruitless attempts to get the money he is owed from former customers. Damone chooses not to show up to give Stacy a ride to the clinic. Under the guise of going to meet friends for bowling, Stacy gets a ride with her brother Brad to a neighboring bowling alley. Brad notices Stacy enter the clinic, and he talks with her about what happened. Stacy didn't tell him the identity of who the father was. When Brad doesn't pressure Stacy any further, their brother-sister bond strengthens. Linda is not quite as kind. Linda goes after Damone by spray painting prick on his car door and writing little prick and marker on his locker after Stacy informs her of Damone's lack of responsibility. All of Brad's bad luck caused him to give up his plans to be single his senior year, and at the pep rally before the football game versus Lincoln, he tells Lisa that he needs her now more than ever. Lisa breaks up with him. That evening, Jefferson unleashes his rage on the Lincoln football team, easily defeating them, sending their quarterback out of the game on a stretcher. Stacy and Mark Ratner were destined to meet up again, as they attend a field trip with their eccentric biology teacher, Mr. Vargas. Although he doesn't take biology, Spicoli joins the class for the field trip anyhow. By the time Mr. Vargas actually begins to pull out organs from the corpse, Stacy feels sick, and Mark joins her. The end of the school year is near. Spicoli receives some retaliation from Mr. Hand, when he pays him a visit at his house the night of the graduation dance, and gives him an impromptu lesson on American history. Surprisingly, Spicoli responds well to Mr. Hand's questions, and by the end of the visit, the two are really cordial. At the prom, Mike Damone and Mark Ratner exchange words. Although a shaky relationship is restored, Damone is aware that he no longer controls Rat. Still working at the pizza place, Stacy waves at Mark Ratner from across the mall as he stands outside the movie theater. Waving him over, she eventually gives him a modest photo of herself, and playfully leaves no doubt that she'd like to see him again. Meanwhile, Brad is working at a convenience store called Mighty Mart. Spicoli walks in and tries to make a purchase while fumbling with pocket change, and decides to go use the store's restroom. At that moment, a robber walks in the store. Spicoli comes out of the bathroom, inadvertently distracts the thief long enough for Brad to throw a pot of hot coffee in the robber's face, jump over the counter, take his gun, hold him at gunpoint, as the getaway car peels out of the parking lot. Spicoli thinks that what Brad just did was totally awesome, and sees Brad as a Ridgemont hero. Brad Hamilton was made manager of Mighty Mart. Mike Damone got busted for scalping Ozzy Osbourne tickets, and is now working at 7-Eleven. The biology teacher Mr. Vargas decided to switch back to coffee. Linda Barrett began attending college in Riverside, and now is living with her abnormal psych professor. Mark Ratner and Stacy are having a passionate love affair, but still haven't gone all the way. Mr. Hand is convinced everyone is on dope. Jeff Spicoli saved Brooke Shields from drowning, and blew all his reward money hiring Van Halen to play at his birthday party. Subscribe for more movie recaps like this, and watch another movie recap. Thanks for watching!